Welcome to The Author Show, where we feature new authors and books, from fiction to self-help and everything in between. You'll find it all at theauthorshow.com. That's theauthorshow.com. And now let the show begin.
Hi, this is Linda Thompson, your host for The Author Show. What would you do if you discovered a relative's suitcase full of old letters that were written in a language that was not easily translated, yet led to an enlightening understanding of that relative? Such is the story of Dear Willy, the true story of a life well lived. The letters were written by Willy Geheb, and the book has been compiled and edited by Claire Ohlsson Geheb. Claire joins us today to talk about Dear Willy and the importance of Willy's book. Claire, welcome to the Author Show.
Thank you, Linda.
Claire, will you please give us a quick overview of Dear Willy, the story of a life well lived?
Dear Willy is a compilation of journals, letters, and photos that were all saved by my husband's father. And when he passed away, my husband found an old suitcase and an old box full of photos. And we saved it. After many years, we finally had it translated 20 years after we found these items. And we found a whole different life for his father that we were unaware of. And we learned all about his family back in Germany. And the most interesting thing about this is it takes place from 1914 to 1947, primarily in Germany. And we all know those were tumultuous years. It starts at the very beginning of World War I. And I didn't tell the story. It's not fiction. The story is told by the people who actually were living during that time. And they are communicating with each other or with a private journal. So they are expressing themselves in a way that we don't normally get to hear. The other thing is, Willy Geheb left Germany in 1923, and he never went back to live in Germany, but the rest of his family stayed.
It was written in a different language. Were the letters written in German, and how did you get them all translated?
Well, the letters were written in German, but not today's German. The letters were written in old German script, and even the alphabet was a little bit different over 100 years ago. So when current German people go to read the letters, they struggle with the script. So it took us a long time to find somebody to translate, and actually the internet was our source. I did a search in 2013, and you can find everything on the internet. Lo and behold, I found some translators.
The internet is amazing, and it makes me wonder what we ever did before we had that.
Well, we were unable to translate the letters before because we couldn't find anyone.
So why did you feel it was important to put these family memories into a book?
My first intention was not to make a book. We wanted to know, why did he save all these letters? What was in them? Maybe we should know, because we have an extensive family now in America. Maybe we should know this history. And we started translating. I had a wonderful translator in Texas that we communicated through the internet. And the letters started coming back, and they were good. They were interesting. So we continued and continued. After a while, I thought, well, I have to get these in a form that people will keep and read, still thinking it would just be for the family. But after we had all the material translated, there was no question that this is a book that a lot of people can enjoy. So I proceeded to compile it and put it into a book form that could be published.
Well, I need to ask, were all of these letters written to Willy, or do you have some of the letters that Willy wrote?
Well, one of the unique things that we found that we didn't realize was that unique is that when Willy went back home, after he had been gone many, many years, he picked up the letters that he had sent back home. All through the years that he was writing, he asked his family to save his letters, and he saved the ones that he had from them. Well, as a result, we actually have conversations where mom at home refers to something in a letter, and then the next letter is from Willie back to his parents, referring to something that was mentioned in the previous letter. So it's not just a bunch of letters. It's an actual family story.
Wow. So tell me, while compiling Dear Willy, were you thinking of anyone in particular who might be interested in reading it? Any type of reader?
My husband and I love history, so we're always interested in something like this. And maybe that's why we kept it, because that's our nature. This is what we love. I suppose I would think that it would be something that could interest other people that were interested in history, history teachers, perhaps people with German heritage, perhaps Americans with an immigrant heritage. So all these things started coming to mind. And also people who are curious about what life was really like at a different time. So it was starting to add up that there could be quite a few people who would be interested in reading this type of book.
Do any of Willie's children remember of him talking about these letters or the events that he wrote about?
No, Willie had 3 children, and they were 3 American boys being raised in Chicago, busy with their lives. They knew that they had German heritage. Their parents spoke German at home. And they didn't think that much of the family back in Germany. Meanwhile, all these letters were going and pictures, and I don't think the boys really got it, which isn't that unusual. I think in families who are even here for generations, younger people aren't very interested in those others over there. So it was really eye-opening for them when all this came about and all the pictures that they didn't even recall seeing. They were probably shown the pictures of their cousins. They're more interested in who's going to the dance that night. So they
Okay.
weren't concerned about those old people back in Germany.
Well, in your research, were you able to reach any of Willie's family still in Germany?
We did. We have reached some cousins, and we, in fact, have met with them in Germany. So we have connected with some cousins. We did meet one aunt 25 years ago, but at that time, we didn't know the whole story. It was just a fluke that we happened to go to Germany because our one son was studying in Germany, and we went to meet him, and we looked up the family, and we met with a lot of cousins and an aunt. It was great, but we didn't know anything about them. Now, 25 years later, a lot of those people aren't alive anymore.
Right. So did Willie's 3 sons participate in the decision to publish his story?
No, just my husband. The other 2 brothers were given the letters as soon as they were translated and put into a readable form. They were reading them, and they were just loving it. But we took on the whole publication.
Is Dear Willy similar to anything else we may have read?
I haven't seen anything yet. I don't know. I know there are a lot of books about what people lived through during those same years, especially World War II. But I haven't seen or heard of anything like this.
That had to have been quite a history lesson just for you and your husband, right?
What's happened is it's not only was a history lesson, but it's become more of a history lesson because history is one of those things when you learn a little bit and then you want to learn a little more and a little more. So that'll continue. And we're enjoying it. We're really enjoying it.
Are you planning to continue writing? And if so, are you working on a new book now?
I'm not working on a new book, but we have met so many people who have told us their stories that I have asked some of them to keep in touch with me, and when they can, that they need to write down their stories. And there's a possibility that I would make another compilation, only this time it would be a variety of stories of families of immigrants.
That could be a very interesting new profession for you, Claire.
Yeah, it could be. Could be something different.
So what would you say is the primary message in Dear Willy that you would like readers to remember?
What I've heard from readers, what we admired ourselves, is that no matter what, these people didn't quit. Whether it was Willie here in America or in his travels before he got to America or the family back in Germany, these people always moved forward, even when it was very, very difficult.
Did you have the opportunity to meet Willie?
I only met him at the end of his life, and he wasn't really conscious. So I did see him in that state, which was very sad. But I didn't personally get to know him, and I sure wish I could have.
How many trips do you think he made back to Germany after he had migrated to the U.S.?
We have most of the information. It looks like he went back about 4 or 5 times, and that was over a period of probably 50 years.
Wow. So, Claire, will you please read for us an excerpt from Dear Willy?
The excerpt that I've chosen reflects, I think, some of the beauty and integrity of this book. When Willy Geheb was 16, World War I was raging. So, like all Germans, teenagers at the time, they kept journals. After he finished his elementary school, he kept a journal about his life. On January 1st, 1917, he wrote, "Time passed and Christmas came, but it was not merry because everyone's thoughts were with their loved ones at the front. At the new year, young men and women were already at the church when we entered, and they held out full glasses to us. We started to ring the bells, which were very loud in the silence of New Year's night. At midnight, everyone shook hands, congratulated each other, yelled into each other's ears, and made so much noise that you couldn't hear yourself think. At 1 o'clock, with more good wishes for the new year, everyone dispersed. I have now stepped over the threshold of the new year. Time rushes on relentlessly, and nothing can stop it. Only the enjoyment of the moment lets us slow it down a little. What will the new year bring me? Will this war end? Or, if not, will I also have to put on the uniform? Will I even live to see the next new year? What will happen? What awaits me? I suppose at the start of a new year, everyone would like to lift the veil of the future. But those are human thoughts. It has to be taken as it comes, and it can't be worse than last year. But I don't care. The Lord has given, and the Lord has taken. Praise and thanks be to the Lord. And so I enter the new year hoping for the best. When I am a year older, I will know everything that happened. Happy New Year."
Oh my gosh, he was a phenomenal writer, even in a journal entry. That was just spellbinding. So tell me, where can we learn more about you and Willie? And most of all, where can we purchase Dear Willy, the true story of a life well lived?
You can go to my website, dearwillybook.com, and there's more information about the book. I have some blog posts on the website. You can purchase directly from the website and from other sources.
Claire, it's really been great to talk with you. Dear Willy is a book that is of historical significance. Taking a horrible time in the world and narrowing it down to the experiences of one family is very enlightening. And I thank you for introducing us to Willy and his life. If you ever write another book again, will you please come back and chat with us?
I would love to, and I hope that that comes to be. Thank you for your time.
Here's a part of a review I found for Dear Willy. As you read this firsthand account of life in the tumultuous 20th century, you cannot help but put yourself in the shoes of the Geheb family as it strives not just to survive, but to prosper in difficult times. The similarities to our current times struck me, and I believe that there are many lessons we can learn from the Geheb family that, if taken to heart, can motivate us to avoid old mistakes and choose peace instead of war. Oh my, what a great
Nice.
incentive to start reading. And I thank you for listening. Please visit
Thank you.
theauthorshow.com to list the other featured authors. These interviews are available to book buyers worldwide, on demand every day, 24/7. And for those who like audiobooks, please check out our audiobook store at theaudiobookmarket.com. If you have written a book and would like to be a guest on the show, visit theauthorshow.com, complete the interview request form, and we will contact you shortly thereafter. The Author Show is a great way to market your book by getting in front of your target audience with a high-quality interview that will make a real impact. Please visit us again as we continue to bring you great books and really interesting authors on The Author Show.
Thanks for listening to The Author Show. Find out more about authors and their work at theauthorshow.com. Theauthorshow.com. Tune in next time to another great author on The Author Show.